Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back working in this little A5 notebook from Felicity Jane, and I have another video tutorial that I did. I will link it down below for you guys that I did earlier in the month, and I had mentioned that these weren't available in the shop, but they now have some available in the shop, so it's super exciting. I know a lot of you are excited to have a little bit bigger of a notebook to work in, and so I can't wait to continue to work through this little notebook. So if you missed that past video that I did, what I'm doing in here is just little personal milestones and accomplishments and things that just make me happy and things like that. So today we're continuing on with another layout using the Rebekah kit from Felicity Jane, and what I have here is kind of a boring photo. It's just a photo of my feet in my driveway. I kind of liked the colors and the leaves really go well with the kit this month, but this is me in my gym wear. I have been on this journey to go back to the gym regularly, get healthy. It's been a long time since I've done that regularly, and this last 2 years, for those of you who don't know, I had a stroke, at least one, if not two, about 2 years ago, and so I spent the last 2 years going through all kinds of health things, trying to figure out foods and exercises and things like that to just get my body into a place where I'm taking care of it and so I don't have a stroke again. So that is what I'm going to be kind of documenting today. It's not going to be week number 1. I'm already like 4 or 5 weeks into this journey, but I did want to get this down into my little notebook because I have been sticking with it. It's been really tough, but I'm sticking with it. So I have a variety of things here. I have some pieces from the Rebekah Collection, including this really beautiful wood grain paper. I love this paper. I've already gone ahead and done some prep off camera. I did go ahead and make a little tag here. This tag is actually going to go behind this journaling card. This journaling card is going to become a pocket over here with my journaling in here. So what I used was the Shea tag set. There is a stamp set and then a coordinating die. So I took the die and then just outlined on some Essentials white cardstock and ran this through my typewriter. That way I could make sure that I was staying, within the boundaries of the tag. So I'll go ahead and I will also die cut this piece out to go on the back side of this tag. So I had created this tag piece from the wood grain paper, but obviously on the back side I needed somewhere to do my journaling. So I'm going to create kind of a double-sided tag here and went ahead and just cut out the little pieces there. I have some just distress oxide inks I'm going to stamp with. I have some trash packaging for my layering. This is just from a glassine bag that I had from some other product, and so I'm going to use that for my layering. I have some other stamp sets here. I have the Rebekah stamp set. I have this Alpha stamp set. This is the Bold Alpha. If this is still available at Felicity Jane, I will link it down below for you guys. I also have the Shea chipboard stickers. These are so pretty, and I hadn't used these yet, so I'm going to bust these out and use these. And then I also will be using some phrases from the Shea tag stamp set. It's going to be a pretty simple entry, so let me go ahead and put you on fast forward and we will get started. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out my journaling, and that was super simple to do since I'd already traced that template onto the paper before I typed onto it. And this tag die is still available in the shop, so if you haven't picked it up, definitely grab one of these. These, I know dies can be a little pricey and an investment, but this is one that I get a lot of use out of. And this is another way I'll be using my journaling cards from here on out, is in this project, turning them into pockets with those tags is just a perfect combination. So I set the tag aside for a second. We're going to work on this journaling card. And like I mentioned, I love that these cards have some blank areas and open spaces to really customize them and make them fit whatever project that you're working on. And then that way, not all of our cards look the same. We can, really make them individual to what we are working on. So I'm going to spell out 5 since I'm technically in week 5 of this health journey. It feels like it's been 100 years, but week 5 of going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, really trying hard to stick with it. I did stamp that with some Distress Oxide ink in, I believe, Forest Moss. And then I took this card over and ran it through my sewing machine. Because this card is white and I'm leaving my background white, I wanted to make sure I added lots of details to the card to help it stand out, lots of texture. And I love adding stitching detail, and it's kind of hard to stitch into a notebook like this. So this is a way to add that detail without physically sewing in the notebook. So I just stitched around the 3 edges of the card, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some double-sided adhesive to the back side, only on 3 sides. And so that way I can create a little pocket here. I'm going to have tons of these journaling pockets in this project. It's kind of one of my favorite ways to add more private journaling. Typically my weight would be private journaling, but I have, thousands of you watching this video that are going to get to see that. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm taking one for the team, guys. I did go ahead and add a little bit of additional double-sided adhesive there to create a stopper. That way the tag didn't fall down into the bottom of the pocket, since this pocket is taller than the tag is. And that makes it so that the tag will nestle down in there, but not fall all the way in, if that makes sense. I am being sure to use my T-ruler just to make sure everything is straight on a layout like this. And then I am going to go ahead and ruffle up the edges of this card. I don't always do this. I know there's some people that do that for, every time that they layer papers and things like that. I just do it based off of the particular layout that I'm working on. And so this one I wanted to have, like I said, all that added texture and dimension to help that card kind of stand out from the background. And you can see that tag just fits perfectly down in there. And now I can go ahead and add my embellishments. So I did go ahead and pick up the embellishments ahead of time before I turned on the camera, but I really try not to think too hard about it. I just pick out the pieces that I find really pretty or am inspired by at the moment, and then just try to make them work. And so I am using some liquid adhesive for this, just so that I can have a little bit of wiggle room where I can move them around if I want to once I stick them down. Trying to keep the dimension to a minimum in this project. I will probably deconstruct this notebook and turn it into a ring-bound notebook. Probably should go ahead and do that now before I get too many entries in there, because knowing me, I will probably have some foam adhesive or something like that in here eventually. But just going in and adding some of those little floral pieces. And this is another reason I really like this project, because it's all my favorite things. So I can save all of my favorite die cuts and papers and the things that I love most that are in my stash, and don't feel like I have to hoard them. I can use them in this project, and then that way I know that they've been used, and I can flip through and admire them and enjoy them instead of just having them in a box somewhere. For the photo, I am going to layer it on, like I said, that wood grain paper. One of my favorite papers. This needs to be a staple in my stash as well. And I'm choosing to layer the paper and then the glassine. Sometimes I'll layer tissue paper or the glassine paper over the top of pattern paper if the pattern is a busy pattern, because then the glassine or vellum or whatever I'm using like that will kind of mute the texture, but I don't have to do that for this one, so the glassine's going as the last texture. And then I want some torn edges, but I'm a control freak, so this gives me control tear by using a straight edge like a ruler. So I still get that rough edge, but it's not like all crazy wild rough edge. If that's something you like, that's awesome. You are braver than me. And now I can layer up these florals. Like I said, again, these are some of the favorite pieces that I had in this collection, and I saved them. And yeah, it's a boring photo, and I'm okay with that. This is a notebook that's just all for me. I'm going to try to keep the base of this layout the white of the pages. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do my layering and what elements I want to add so that it looks like it's simple but has some detail. So I decided to pull out this fun texture stamp from the Rebekah stamp set, and I'm using that same Forest Moss green ink, and I'm just stamping a few of these behind those floral clusters to add some dimension. That stamp set, again, is going to be another staple for me. I'm all about floral stamps, and that one has some great elements that you can see here. Those are meant to kind of pair up with the flowers, but you can use them all by themselves as well and give you a really fun textured element on your projects. So I can go ahead and stick down my photo, again using my T-ruler. Sometimes I like to leave things, you know, at little wonky angles and things like that, and then other times I want things nice and straight. It just kind of depends on what I'm working on. And since I cropped the photo so that the bricks are straight, I want to make sure that all the rest of the lines in my layout are straight. That way it's all cohesive looking and looks like it belongs together. And I'm tucking some things on the front of photo, some things behind the photo. Like I said, it's just a boring photo of my feet, but I'm not fully prepared for a gym selfie yet. I know some of you girls are all into that. I don't have that confidence yet. Maybe one of these days, maybe one of these days when I start seeing some real transformation and gains, maybe I'll have a gym selfie. I pulled out some copper metallic thread and put that through this fun little rubber tag, and then I'm going to attach that with one of those new mustard colored paper clips. Super cute little pieces there. I'm going to steal Cherie's little tip and add some double-sided adhesive to the back side of my tag and stick it down. That way it's exactly where I want it and it's not just flopping around in my layout. And that's also nice because then if you've got something like this where it's a book where you're going to be flipping through it often, you don't have to worry about pieces falling off or getting lost if you adhere them down well, like you do with that double-sided adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and add my title. I was kind of looking at the letter trying to decide what my title was going to be, and I decided on Gym Time, something just short and sweet. And now I'm going to pull out some sentiments from that tag Shea stamp set. There's this piece that says embracing the journey, and oh man, am I trying to embrace the journey. I'm telling you guys, after 5 weeks I have seen maybe a 2-pound loss, but definitely can feel like my clothes are feeling different. I feel like I'm losing weight, so I'm trying to embrace this journey of not getting caught up on the numbers on the scale, and it's really hard. I know a lot of women can relate to that. You know, we kind of just grow up being slaves to the number on the scale, and I'm trying to retrain my mind that it's not about that. It's about how I feel. I have a lot more energy. I'm sleeping better. I feel better. I have less inflammation, so just trying to focus on that and not the 3-digit number on the scale. Add a little note to self stamp on the front of the tag. I like how it looks almost like it's wood burned into that paper. It was kind of a fun little surprise element that you'll see when you pull that tag out. Now, like I said, I want to keep the background pretty simple, so I covered up my photo, and then now I'm just going to go ahead and add some ink splatters. That way it's tying the two sides of the pages together so it looks like one cohesive layout. And just adds a little bit of interest. I'm going to pull in some tattered rose as well, which matches the pinks in the Rebekah collection. Now those inks do bleed through, and I'll show you here there is a little bit of bleed through. If that bothers you, you can skip a page between your layouts and then just adhere 2 of the pages together, which is what I'll have to do there, and the bleed through will not be a problem. So there's a look at the finished layout. Be sure to head on over to the Felicity Jane blog to check out more close-up photos and more information about this project that I'm working on. Check out the description box for links to everything that I used today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.